All right, this is Pops. I'm going to talk to you, and I'm probably just going to rant about Tulsa King. I'm not even going to pull it all up. I know I've got 2 or 3 episodes I should be summarizing, but here's where I'm at on the show. They have fallen into the Disney trap of content for the sake of content. They're wasting my time. The show is still a good show, and there is a good story in there, but they meander and drive all over the road, and I'm losing interest. All right, Pops, what do you mean? Well, let me give you an example. There's a scene with Mitch teaching Tina, the daughter, how to shoot. All right. It's this nice little bonding moment. It's setting up some chemistry, and it makes sense that they're going to get together to create tension with Dwight. Where does any of that go? Nowhere. Why? Because the Kansas City threat is now so big. We have to shoot Tina off to New York. Why are we doing that? Why doesn't she go, I don't know, anywhere else in the country than there? I I really am just sort of like bewildered that we're going to do these things. But anyway, in the wake of everything that's going on with Tyson, what they should have done was leave Tina there. And then whenever Kansas City or whoever is staking out later in this last episode, Tina is actually fends them off and shoots them. And that's creates bonding with Mitch. And maybe there's a spontaneous kiss that upsets Dwight. And just everything about that makes more sense with the line and following the story arcs along. The back to New York stuff, I don't know anyone else. I don't care. That's not what I want. The stuff with the weed people and Neil McDonough's character and the Chinese and Cal Thresher running home to Kansas City, all that coming to head is fine. It's just taking too long to get there. And he's also like reduced to the beta. So now all the stuff with Cal Thresher being, quote, the big bad is actually a joke. And it's really just these Chinese guys. They're really the guys. And I really don't understand why we just didn't do that instead. Save Cal Thresher for another season or have him be a reluctant ally or just a government toady who would create a different line. Because remember all the FBI stuff we did in season one? Remember how we just shipped Stacy off in the beginning of season two? None of it is existent. And then all of a sudden, in this last episode, the FBI are watching. They show up at Dwight's door. They tell him that Kansas City might try to take him out. The show is so start and start, start and stop, start and stop. Oh, dear Lord, please. I don't know what's happened and changed in the writing room and where Taylor Sheridan's focus is in control and all of this is, but it is not that the show is terrible. Please, you guys can blow up the comments and how you disagree with me, but it's the fact that we have so many things that don't go anywhere. And stakes. Why didn't we not? So when there was the bombing and uh the SUV blows up and Tyson's dad is injured. They should just kill Tyson's dad. I'm sorry. It would have been a better story arc for Tyson to now be it's his fault, right? It's forced a wedge between him and the mom who had been his biggest supporter, and dad kind of like, oh, son, are you okay? Like, okay, none of this makes any sense. Dad hated all the mafia stuff and nearly kills him, and he acts like he's okay there to support the son. The mom is the one that's angry. Like that would have been an easier sell and a more traumatic and a better story arc for Mitch and to be there for Tyson and to mentor him to like, hey man, you're getting into some heavy crap. These are the consequences. This is the real world that you chose. Oh, dear Lord, I just it seems like the show doesn't have like an outline, and I don't know if we're back to the Disney Marvel. Star Wars problem where they'll have a creator who has a beginning and an end, and then they just let people do whatever they want in the middle. Andor is the best example of that. There are shows where they obviously don't have a story arc, and then later they try to undo it, which is like with Loki. I don't really understand what they're doing with Tulsa King because the show is so good when it's on task. You know, the New York mafia guy who's in Cowboy Town, he's bringing up these misfits and it all works. Instead, they do something and then they undo it. They do something and they undo it, or they do things and then it doesn't go anywhere. So right now, I'm sort of just in this place where it's good enough, but we are literally into like C plus, C minus territory for these episodes because every episode has as many problems as things that they do right. Like it just creates new issues or it brings up things like, then why did we waste time in the school? Like, why did we have Dwight walk around with the school and blah, 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 and all this stuff about because it's not funny in season one where he was like the fish out of water. He's the guy in prison who's now in our real world and things have changed. No, it was just a scene where we're mocking Dwight for having old school values, and it didn't make any sense, and it's off-putting. It's like having the sequence where Dwight's in the back seat on high on like the pot lollipops. It's like he's making goofy stuff. It wasn't fish out of water. It's just mocking Dwight. And the show has sort of like lost the script on what made it good in the beginning, especially those last few episodes of season one. Season two is literally really derailing, even worse than my what I consider the fall off for like Mayor of Kingstown, because Mayor of Kingstown started here, then it kind of ended up here, and then season three kind of went all over the map, and it's like I feel like we're in the same problem. So I don't know what's happened. Maybe they're going to have excuses for why this happened, and maybe I'm alone. Maybe you guys completely disagree with me, but this is my catch up Tulsa King spoiler rant, if you will. Oh, dear Lord. So, all in all, it's still a fine show, but keep your expectations in check as these shows move along because this is a problem that seems to be common in the streaming service world. Because I don't know who left. I don't know what changed. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Pops.
Adios, amigo.